What is up, Derek 13 Serious Engineering, and right now we got the next video in our polymorphic relationships. It is going to be the one-to-many video, and so we're going to add an entity spacecraft with our orbital ID and orbitable type that's going to be an enum, and that's either going to go to a star or planet. Could go to a system. We're just going to do star and planet for right now. I couldn't remember what my font has been set on before because it's been a minute since I made a video. So I went with 18. Hopefully everyone is going to be able to read that. Okay. Anyways, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make an entity. Um, and you should be able to see my PHP Storm font fine, but I bet you cannot see my console very well. So I'm just doing the Symfony console make entity. We're going to do spacecraft, um, property name, IDs we're going to change later. Um, you know, I want to try something. I've actually never done this before. But okay, we got spacecraft added here, and I keep having to change the namespace. What if I didn't have to do that? And it went like spacecraft slash spacecraft. Okay, it doesn't like it. You can't namespace it like that. We'll have to just change it. Oh, wait. Maybe that's why I said I did it. There we go. Okay. Awesome. It's namespaced correctly and everything. That's so cool. I didn't think to do that. Seems pretty obvious. I don't know why I didn't think to ever do that before in my life, but well, there you go. You can add the like pathing, the namespacing pretty easily. Okay, so ID, that's what we're going to mess with to do a UUID. And what else do we have in here? Name, string, yes, no, cannot be null. Then we got speed, decimal, yes, 10 and 2 for precision. No, it can't be null. And then we're going to have orbital ID. Um, and okay, and I can give it a UUID. Sick. All right. No, it can't. And then orbital type. I don't think I can just add an enum in here. We can do it in, I actually don't even know if Postgres has, I mean, MySQL has enums. I can't imagine it not having it. Huh. I don't think it supports enums in a migration. Maybe we could just do object though. I don't like that. We're gonna change this. First off, we're gonna copy all this. Cool. And we're just going to change that. All right. Make migration, Symfony console, doctrine migrations, migrate. All right. And if we refresh our database, then we have spacecraft, which should hopefully have everything we need. So spacecraft is going to have this one, an ID, Hubble, speed, $7,000 mph. What should speed be in kilometers an hour, I guess? Orbital ID. Now, this is going to be related to Earth. We don't have that, so we got to add it. Same system ID. One Earth mass. Cool. All right, now we have Earth. And in spacecraft, so we're going to give it Earth's ID. And the orbital type, this is where we really need to make a decision. What are we going to do this with? Enums, so we just get the class, give that to doctrine, and then it's happy? I think so. I think that's the right thing to do. Orbital enum. And then let's do, if you don't remember what backed enums are like me, you just give it a case. This actually isn't right. You just give it a case like this. So case planet is going to be just like that. Case star is going to be star just like that. And we haven't, yeah, that's fine. We're just going to do those two for now. Believe it or not, we're almost actually done with this. So all we need to do is in our spacecraft repository, we just need to do, we're not going to worry about actually building this out right now. Well, we might actually need to. You can build, you can use this relationship in both ways if you need to. In Laravel, they have what they're showing in the ORM, and this kind of goes against our CQRS pattern, so we might change this in a minute. But they get a comment, and then they get the commentable, and that doesn't just bring back like the ID or something like that. That brings the entity attached to it. So we're going to have orbitable. We're going to do this as a function, not as a property, because it's going to be easier to support. And that's not going to take anything. And that's going to either, I got to tell you, I did love the new PHP Storm autocomplete stuff, but I've actually found it to be more annoying than it has been. It's been kind of ugh. Planet or star. Cool. We're just gonna call this, well, O, I guess, for orbitable. And we have the spacecraft's ID, or we're going to. Well, that's the thing. We need to use find to get it to get its ID. So let's take that. This one. I think it's going to be easier to chunk this up and not do it all in one thing because we might need an expression. We'll see though. Cool. Okay. Query builder. Trying to think of like a smart way to do this, and just what we could do is we could just we could just find the comment, and then we could pass the object to the repository, or and then it would just query either a planet or a star from the object's ID, which I guess we're kind of doing that. We're gonna call, yeah, okay, we'll leave that orbitable. We'll pass the ID, which we got to get from, we're actually just gonna have that in our controller. Okay, this is gonna be perfect. We're going to, we need select. We need to customize. It's gonna always want to alias. What did I do with update? Because that one didn't take an alias. I gotta say, I don't use Doctrine like every day, so sometimes I do forget some of this stuff. Oh, get entity manager, create query builder. All right, that's what we want. And then not give it an alias. It doesn't take anything. So we're gonna be like select. Okay, I've decided just to explain this, we're gonna break the CQRS and go with the basic ORM stuff, which isn't fun. And then we're gonna doctor it up to do CQRS, so it works correctly. But basically, we just need the orbitable type. So we could probably just do this without the get entity manager and just do with query builder. We're going to do from spacecraft orbitable type as O. And that's basically it. And that should get us what we want. But DQ model class to enable completion. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't know that this is either that this is going to be an enum type or not. We also need a way to like actually set this correctly. We're not going to worry about that right now though. We're just going to go, we know this one is planet um, we know that that's our class type. Cool. Okay. And then we just have to, we just query that out with find, and there you go. I'm just trying to think how we can do this without giving the spacecraft, just giving the ID so we can reduce our queries. I'll think about that. I'm going to build out the controller for spacecraft. And because you guys don't need to see that, that's kind of boring. So just pause it and get that done. But then in Planet as well, we also want to have the inverse of this. So it gets the comment, it gets the thing related to it, but we also want to be able to get the spacecrafts associated with the planet in this instance in the same way, or with the star or whatever it is. So in our planet repository, I forgot that we did our own custom base repository with this. This would actually be, well, there's probably a cool pattern we could do to like build this out as our own ORM dealio, but just for right now, just worried about the relationships, not doing something cool. We'll do like get what did they call it? They just said comments, not commentable. Orbitable. Or orbital. I guess that's what we want with, and that sounds better. Also going to return a collection, and same thing. We can do this easy though. Not doing I do need to actually, I think, do this because we're not getting an actual relationship that we've built. It's a, well, we are, but the doctrine doesn't know about it. Select, oh, we'll call it O again, sure. From spacecraft. Select O from spacecraft where O dot orbital ID equals equals ID. Maybe we should just for sanity, we'll just call it planet ID. Set parameter. Come on. Set parameter. Planet ID. ID. So it's going to get every orbiter associated with that ID. Now, we're in a planet, so we could also set this further by being like and type equals planet. But just because we have the planet ID, that's all that it's going to be associated to. That's all. That's it. That's all we need to do. We don't need to say, hey, get the planet type, whatever. But we have the flexibility to do that. Let's look at all the spacecraft that are related to a planet, or all the spacecraft that are related to a star, or whatever it is. Well, that's going to get a collection of our orbiters, which is going to be one thing for us. And yeah, that should be all we need to do, except me using my tiny brain to think about doing this with just an ID. And not a join. We're going to have to do a subselect, basically. Because what we're doing is this is going to get a planet or a star. So we want to select the planet or star ID where it's the ID, where the ID is in either. Okay, I think I know how I can do this. I just kind of had a brain fart. I don't know. No, that won't work. All right, I need a minute to think about how to do this more clever than through the ORM. And in the meantime, I'm going to just build out the endpoints for this. All right, I kind of went a little ahead. I got kind of carried away, but I remember this with the subselects and doctrine. I just really don't get those. And I think they're really, I've read some stuff, they're like really inefficient. And that, that's the thing using an ORM sometimes is that you have that. So, anyways, let me just take you through what we've got here. We've got a spacecraft controller, and in order to do this, with doctrine, we got two queries. So we're getting the spacecraft via the asset mapper dealio. So we have our spacecraft. So that's one query. And then in our spacecraft service, we have get orbital, which passes the spacecraft, returns a planet or star, because that's what it can take. And then, um, the orbital, there's some cool stuff we could do with the return types, but I'm not really worried about that. Orbital in the spacecraft repository takes a spacecraft, gets the orbital type, which if we dump that out, what's the orbital type? It's going to give us the class string for, remember we're doing the Hubble, so app entity planet and the orbital ID, that's for Earth. So if we look at this, sure this is small to see, but it's app entity planet planet. So that's our planet class string. And when we insert this, of course I just did it manually, but if we built an endpoint to align a spacecraft or create a spacecraft, it would use these beautiful orbital enums that we've made, and we won't have to worry about any of the stuff I just did, but we're going to skip that. Don't really have time today to go through all that, and it's so easy to, well, I'm not going to say it's so easy, but that's easy enough for anyone to figure out how to create it and assign the enum to set orbital and all that jazz. So not worried about that. But where were we? Repository. Okay, so we got our orbital type. So we're going to use just the orbital alias to query whatever type it is, which we know is either star or planet, where the ID of that entity equals the orbital ID. And that's all we're doing. And that could either be a star or planet that comes back. So in our instance, in our controller, we're dumping that out. And we could serialize it however we want with a group like orbital type and all the information and whatever. Um, or the orbital, it's like planet is star is null, planet is this. We do a bunch of different stuff. So what is that representing? That's representing an eloquent comment commentable, and we called it orbital. Then the other part of that is planets. So planets, planet ID, and I called it orbiter. And actually I haven't tested this, so we'll see if it breaks. If we go to our planet controller, oh, orbiters. Yeah, there's more than one. That makes sense. I did that right. Orbiters, that just takes the planet's UUID. We go to get orbiters in the planet repository, and then we just are selecting from the spacecraft class where the orbital ID is the planet ID, which there could be multiple of those. We could have multiple spacecrafts in there, and it's returning a collection. Um, yeah, okay, this is right. Um, I think we could simplify this a little. We need that, and we need that. It's fine. This isn't inefficient, but I think we could make this more simple if I had to think about it. But all right, let's test it. Should query the spacecraft now. Orbiter return value, array returned. Um, array collection. Well, it can still be that. I'd rather have this be a collection than just an array for now. No content. Oh, well, I'm not doing anything. Cool. Okay, that should work. And there we go. So it's an array. It's just our one orbiter, the Hubble. But if we added one other ones, it would query. It would get a collection of them. That's what we're doing. So that's both sides of that one-to-many relationship. Just like comments as comment. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. So I hope that's helpful. That's how you build these out. Now, as far as it's hard not to want to add serialization to this and do all that stuff. But this is all for nothing, so we don't need to be worried about it. But this is really bugging, having two queries like that using doctrine. And I remember like the subselects in doctrine just being so rough. So, I think the way we want to do this is properly is just using dball. And the way we could easily do this is like select, what are we really trying to get? We're gonna have to join planet and star all from, doesn't matter what we do, but select all from planet. Um, We need to know what type it is. Yeah, this is definitely going to be more complex, not using multiple queries because we can't join planet and star, and we just need to know the type. But we can do this in raw SQL with just one query. And yeah, I still haven't really come up with a solution for it, but we need to like just prepare what type it is, I guess. But either way, using Query Builder and two ugly doctrine queries, this is how you would do that. Unfortunately, you are going to have that in some endpoints. When you get into more complicated things, you're going to have multiple queries, and sometimes that's better than having a bunch of joins and subselects that could perform worse. And a lot of times I disappointed the ORM. The ORM can win. I'm not saying that they can't win. and you can't use it. That's the whole point of engineering. That's what software engineering is that we are trying to figure out, what's the right way here. And sometimes two small queries can win over one query that is messy. Um, and in splitting stuff up, it can be helpful, but you just need to be discretionary where you use this. This is definitely something I'm going to think about trying to fix for sure. But if we were to return this, um, you'd want to use a serialization group, but it would be like we just do orbital. Can I do class? Class equals orbital enum planet, then mapped return planet equals orbital. Wow, my monitor's really shaking, huh? Um, cool. So you could do something like that. You know what we do want is value. It's a back to enum, or else that won't work. Where was this, in this spacecraft one? We got planets here. See what kind of error we get with that. What is this? What did I do? What did I do to create this? I think we have a serializer group issue. Somewhere. What if I just went like after return? Oh, that should be a 200. Oh, I bet we have an issue because we're serializing a relationship with one of these. Planet needs system serialized, and we didn't get it with its system. And both planet and star need that, and we did it lazily. Like if we just dump this out, it's a little out of scope for this video, getting back into the serializer stuff. But yeah, we can say this is what our object's going to look like. And if we go to planet entity, groups, planet, see if we can fix this real quick. I don't know if I can, but I don't have that as a whatever. You'd want to have that be like a static method to like get serializer groups. Oh, wait. Set initialize can only be added, cannot be added. Ignore can only be added on methods get, is, has, set. I think we've got an issue here. There's something Doctrine doesn't like about serializing this. Maybe we'll get into that next time. But either way, you can see we're getting the right entity out. It's just, we're just getting a planet entity. There's no other relationship with her. I don't know why this is unhappy, but I'm definitely gonna have to take a look at that. And you'd want to have like something in here like orbital get groups or some type of static function you could call to get the serializer groups or something like that to make that work. But yeah, I'm not sure why it doesn't like serializing this. Maybe just because of the nesting. I'm not sure. I am not sure. But anyways, if you can figure out how to serialize this, then you're good to go. I just don't want to spend like an hour debugging why this is messed up. There's an ignore tribute. Oh, probably for system. That's so annoying. Or it's adding something. I'm literally just returning this. I don't know why it's so. Well, hold on. I gotta figure this out. Okay, this was driving me up the wall and I finally figured it out. I didn't do anything. Um, this is kind of what we had before, right? Planet, star, blah, blah, whatever. And our groups, that this is the same as just planets. And if we don't do this, we're, oh, it didn't like that. Yeah. We gotta have our groups here. Object normalizer, context builder. We got to do that. This would have to be added to star as well, so we could have a magic method call. But this works. This is the same exact thing as how we are serializing planets that we've gone over in a previous video. Same exact thing, um, literally. And it wasn't working, and I couldn't figure out why. Um, at all. As it turns out, there is a bug right here. I'm going to copy paste this into Stack Overflow, but or into the video comments. But this is a Symfony bug that apparently just came out. This is April 9th. This got answered, so like 2 weeks ago. Apparently, the var exporter class has a bug. Um, that's going to be in the next release. I haven't even looked at this PR, but it's already merged. That's interesting into Symfony 5.4. When was this merged on? 3 weeks ago. Cool. Nice. So, yeah, they fixed it, which is great. But if you run into that issue that we are seeing about the get set is add blah blah all that, and you're using Symfony 4, you need to downgrade your var exporter. And the command for that is, which I get you guys can't see that, but it's composer requires Symfony var exporter 704, and that's all I did, and it fixed it. If you look at our composer JSON file, var exporter, there you go, is 704. I don't know what let's look at what it was before. I don't know why that's not, well, this is added. So I think var exporter was just part of serializer. And see, serializer's on 706, exporter's on 704. So there you go. That's a known bug. We just got the right dependency and boom, that's it. All right, that's this stuff working. Next time we're going to go over the other ERD diagram that we talked about, which is our astrodynamics many-to-many polymorphic relationship. That's going to be a longer video. Not that this one was short by any means, but there you go. I hope someone found this helpful.